So guys, I'm going to be completely transparent with you. These are the things I'm struggling with right now in business, and I'd love to hear if you guys can relate. If you're uncapped in terms of how much you can earn, you still in a way are capped. After those few hard years, I had some big growth consistently year after year. How can we take it to that next level? I am only one person. There's only so many clients that I can get. My coaching is based on attention to detail, the amount of support that I give my clients. Like, we have to think more than just being consistent. So it's inevitable that you have periods of time in your business where there's ebbs and flows, right? You have times in your business where things are going really good, and there's times in your business where things maybe aren't going as good. Now, there's not to say things aren't going good at all. I'm so blessed to still be in the position that I am. Business is still great, but new level, new devil, right? There's always going to be certain things that we need to navigate, and it's always important that we do have that game plan. So I'd love to just bring you guys along, give you guys my complete, transparent, honest and raw struggles, because I think it'll be super informative to bring you guys along in the journey as we continue to build this empire. So the first thing that I want to touch on is about income. Okay, so the first few years of my business ran at a loss, basically. I was basically paying to work, and there was periods of time where I was basically paying rent at the gym as a PT to be able to PT my clients. And I was passionate about it, and I knew I wanted to grow the business. After those few hard years, I had some big growth. Consistently, year after year, my income was increasing. I'm talking like 3 to 4x per year for a couple years there, which was fantastic. It was awesome to see that number go up consistently. And then I kind of got to a point about 2 years ago where it kind of steadied around the same. Still great, and I'm still grateful. Clients are amazing. However, what I found is, you kind of get to the capacity, because even though it's your business, right, and you're uncapped in terms of how much you can earn, you still in a way are capped, because if you're offering a service, there's still only so many hours a day that you can work with your clients. So, you still are going to get to that point where you are kind of capped, right? And if you're offering any kind of service, it's inevitable that you do get to a point where your income can kind of like hit a little bit of a plateau or hit a little bit stagnant. And whilst it ultimately has still technically increased, and my prices have gone up, and I'm still maybe working less for the income too, so that's something else that we can look at, but it just hasn't continued to increase the way that I would have wanted initially. When you see that little bit of growth, that amount of growth that I was seeing to now. And once again, this is not to be ungrateful in any single way at all, but it's just, thinking logically as a business owner. Okay, why did this happen? What can I do to improve my service? And what else do I need to be doing? Because what got me here isn't what's going to get me there to the next level. So we need to be putting our business hat on and taking away from the fact that, yes, I do have this skill set as being a fantastic personal trainer and online coach, but I need to also be a good business owner and think objectively here and look at the numbers, see what else we need to be doing to continue to see that growth. The moment you start getting complacent with where you're at and you get comfortable is the moment that things will start to go south. So I think it's super important, and this is something that I've always been really on top of my numbers, and making sure that we're looking at the statistics really seriously and think, okay, well, why aren't I seeing that growth as much? And for me, what I found is that, well, I am only one person. There's only so many clients that I can get, and my coaching is based on attention to detail, the amount of support that I give my clients. There are a lot of coaches, and there's nothing wrong with this style of coaching at all, but it's just their preference, and they've got a lot of clients, but the only thing that they do is they just give them their numbers, and then their check-in feedback is really slow. Whereas for me, I'm so big on messaging clients throughout the week and giving a detailed check-in and explaining why we're doing what we're doing. So for me, I don't want to lose that touch and that premium service. My price, being a higher price point, reflects on the premium service that I do offer. So there's only so much you can do with that, right? Especially if you are wanting to offer that more premium service. So that's kind of my thing, is how can I work more on the business and not in the business, because I spend so much time working in the business, working with my clients, and because I am at capacity and I do have a wait list constantly and have had a wait list for years. okay, how else could I continue to increase my income and offer other services to be able to cater to other clients and to continue increasing income, to be able to help more people, because that's the ultimate goal, right? It's not just to increase income, but it's to help more people. That's why we're in the industry. So that's the first thing that I'm struggling with, is how can we take it to that next level? And we have to think more than just being consistent and just momentum, because yeah, for sure, but if you don't have a strategy, I feel like you're always going to fall short than the person who is still consistent and then also has that strategy. Like there has to be purpose around what you do. So that's kind of the first thing that I'm struggling with. So the next thing that I'm struggling with in business, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, and that's just not necessarily having enough time. So when you're a business owner, you ultimately want to be spending more time working on the business as opposed to in the business. And for myself at the moment, I work so much in the business. So for me, I'm looking at, okay, well, how can I work more on the business so it continues growing? A few things that I have been implementing and I have been doing and am continuing to do is outsourcing. So I suggest, if you struggle with this, work out how much is your time worth. What is 1 hour of your time worth? So for example, maybe you still work in a 9 to 5 and you're getting paid, say, $30 an hour. So you know for sure that at the very least, your time is worth $30 an hour. So if you're doing an hour, say, editing a YouTube video, and that's $30, could you be spending that 1 hour doing something else that's going to make you more than $30 and that you can pay someone else to do that? So think about how much is your time actually worth, because remember as well, your time is more important than money. Delegation can be one of the hardest things that you do, but you have to get comfortable with it if you want to grow your business. There is a really awesome book I read back in 2020. It is called The Art of Delegation. You can buy it from Amazon. It's honestly like $5. It's the world's probably smallest book ever, but it's really good. It really helps me when it comes to hiring and taking on board another coach, which my coach has been with me. Actually, it was his 3-year coaching anniversary with me yesterday. He is amazing. He's honestly the best thing I've ever done regarding business, and I'm so thankful for him. And it can be, a tough thing with making sure that the team that you're bringing on board aligns with your morals and your values and your ethics, and making sure that all the right things are in place so that they're running the business as closely as to how you'd want to run your business. For a fact, you're going to grow so much quicker in a team having other people helping you along the way, even if it's costing you money initially. But if you're smart, there are certain things that you can do in place so you're not just like forking out heaps of money, because we don't want to be risky. We want to make sure that what we're doing is smart and strategic as well. So I have a team of 5 or 6 coaches, 5 coaches I think it is. I have a team of 5 coaches, and they are on a little bit of my newer coaches are on a little bit of a different infrastructure when I brought on my first coach. So, you can have different systems in place as well. So, you're not going to be losing anything if things don't go the way that you want. So that's my main thing, is just not having enough time, because I'm so busy. I genuinely haven't had a day off in like over 6 weeks, and I'd give anything for a day off at this point, especially because it is comp season. So, just having a look, all right, well, if I bring on other coaches, what's it going to look like for me? Are there other tasks I can do? For example, I'm outsourcing my content creation by obviously doing YouTube, which we'll touch on in a second, hiring someone else to do reels as well. Like, I'll chat on that in the next point, but that's probably the main thing, is just struggling with time and looking at those other ways that we can delegate those tasks that can be delegated even when it is uncomfortable. The next thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is just lead gen as a whole, right? I've been at the same kind of follower account for quite some time now, and which is really, really normal. Like, my followers count is still good, and it's not all about followers though. I mean, even though I've had the same followers for, I'd say, probably a few years, my client base has still increased regardless. And that's the thing, is like, you never really know who's watching you. And if you're in that process of growing your business, I can tell you right now, pretty much 99% of the clients who reach out to you will be so random that you didn't even know that they were watching your stuff. You can get so used to seeing those few like people who watch your story. You feel like that's kind of all the only people who watch your story. However, it's just not the case. You never know who's watching, and you never know when your next sale is going to be. So if you're struggling with the same, I would just say use that as in the back of your head. You're only one post away from your next reel going viral. You're only one post away from your next client reaching out. You're only one Instagram story call to action away from that person finally booking in that consult. So for me, I'm like, okay, well, how can I bring in a new audience? How can I get more eyes on my stuff, right? How can I increase that? What kind of content do I need to be pushing? Where does my Instagram stories go down? My views go down, for example. Reshares that you do equals basically not many consult calls booked in. So which is a shame, because all my clients literally look 10 out of 10 and I want to share them. Like, they all look amazing. So that's just been something that I have learned recently and that I've been implementing slowly but surely, even though it's like a genuine battle for me every single day to try and not reshare. So that's one thing. Something else that I'm doing to just bring in a new audience is, of course, growing the YouTube. So the way that I'm kind of approaching the YouTube this time around, because obviously I've had my YouTube channel for many years, I've kind of just done it as a hobby, kind of had it in the background, but now I'm taking my YouTube more seriously and treating it more like a whole different business itself, because it ultimately is, like, it can bring in income, and that's the goal with it. So for me, taking YouTube seriously, I'm uploading 2 to 3 times a week, 2 times at an absolute minimum, and then a third one if I can get in those extra vlogs as well. So treating my YouTube like an actual business, and that's the same with all content. So now that I've got a consistent posting schedule with YouTube, we're really just monitoring this, seeing what we can do, try and get a new audience, because YouTube is an awesome platform to bring in new eyes, whereas Instagram algorithm can be quite tough to hack, and by all means so can YouTube be. However, if you can do it, you know, you're just going to get a whole new audience that you wouldn't have like you would on YouTube. So that's the main thing that I'm doing, and then something else that I'm doing is on my separate Instagram, which is just Jasmine Templin. That's like my business coaching page, because I've got Jasmine Templin Fitness, and then I've got just Jasmine Templin, which is my like my business coaching page. That I've actually got one of my girls who is just kind of like recreating like viral reels for me. She actually posted one this morning, which just like pops up on my timeline. I'm like, hey, that's me. And yeah, she's just posting that in the background for me, which I feel like all those reels are always kind of like a little bit cringe when you rewatch them. Like, I was watching that, I was like, oh my god, stop. But those reels are the kind of reels that do really well. So we're kind of just like recreating viral reels at the moment. I've just sent her like a whole bunch of like raw footage of me, and that's what we're just continuing to do. And then she'll just do her thing, recreate reels, and she'll just post it on my behalf. She's logged into that. So we've got that, and then I've also got another PA who also just logs into my Jasmine Templin Fitness account, and she just does like outreach. She comments on like everyone's posts, and then like DMs people as well on my behalf, which is kind of crazy that I've got like heaps of people logged into my Instagram accounts. But honestly, that's been so helpful for me. If I could have done something sooner, I would have 100% done that sooner, because it's been such a game changer. And just having those conversations, because once again, I work so much in the business, I don't have time to go on Instagram and comments, go girl, on everyone's Instagram posts like my PA does, which is so good, because she literally just sounds like me with everything that she says. And then obviously I see everything as well. But yeah, it's honestly been such a hack. So that's what I'm doing at the moment to continue to bring in like that new audience as well, and like that extra engagement really does help me. So guys, to summarize, those a few things that I have been struggling with is increasing income, is having that time delegating tasks, and lead gen, and having a new audience. So those are the main things. I'd love to hear if you guys struggle with any of these things that I mentioned, and if you have, comment below, and I would love to hear if you're struggling with anything else as well at the moment. Maybe I can do a video with something that I've overcome, or if you have any tips for me, I would love to hear about that as well. So make sure you guys go subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.